I am so excited! You and me are traveling to Mexico. Yes, but you and I are traveling to Mexico this week. What? Whatever. I want to pack my luggages. You want to pack your luggage. I can't find my book that it was about a little girl. But you have to say you can't find the book that was about a little girl. If you want to continue doing this, I don't want to travel to Mexico with you. Hello guys, what's up? I am Bahar and welcome back to my channel. Today I will tell you 5 mistakes that most English students make while they're speaking in English. So if you want to stop making these mistakes, let's watch it, learn it. Let's start with the first mistake. I want to ask you a question. You and I or you and me? Which one is correct? The good news is both of them are correct, but they can be used in different situations. Well, you and I means we. For an example, you and I are watching a famous movie, or you and I are traveling to France. But you and me means us. For an example, they saw you and me at the shopping mall, or she invited you and me for her birthday party. You might ask, when should I use you and me? When should I use you and I? Let me tell you something. You and I is the subject of our sentence. Well, as you may know, subject is something that is doing an action. Take a look at these sentences. I am writing a book. Here, I is the subject pronoun because I am doing something, I am writing a book. What about this? We are writing a book. And now look at here. You and I are writing a book. So as you just seen, here you and I is the subject of our sentence. But you and me is the object of our sentence. As you may know, object is something that the action has happened to. Take a look at these examples. She asked me to write a book. She asked us to write a book. She asked you and me to write a book. As you just seen, these are the object pronouns and they are something that the action has happened to. She asked me to write a book. Before we go to the second mistake, let's have a quiz together. They told to study harder. They told you and me to study harder. Are buying a new house. You and I are buying a new house. Now let's jump into the second mistake. Which one is correct? She has black hair. She has black hairs. Which one is correct? The first one is the correct answer. Well, in this part, I will tell you some mistakes that you might make about uncountable nouns. Here, hair is an uncountable noun, and you shouldn't have the plural form. You might know that we have 2 different nouns. Countable nouns like apple, desk, elephant, chair, and also we have uncountable nouns like data, information, advice, luggage, news, slip, rice, meat, and so on. You know that for countable nouns, we can use both singular and plural form of the word. For an example, she has a cat and she has 3 dogs. But for uncountable nouns, you cannot use the plural form of the word. For an example, if you say, can you give me 3 advices? This is completely wrong. You should say, can you give me some advice? Or can you give me a piece of information about something? Because this word is uncountable and you cannot use the plural form of these words. Another example, I need to buy some rice. And also because they can be used as singular forms, Well, you can say, her hair is very beautiful. Or I heard about the news. It was surprising. And as I said a few seconds before, you cannot use a or an for uncountable nouns. I mean, instead of saying, I need an information about this topic, you should say, I need a piece of information about that topic. You might ask, what should I say then? You can use some other measures and quantities. For an example, you can use a little, some, much, a lot of, or not, or any. For example, can you give me some advice about how to lose weight? Or you can say, she has lots of information about fitness and other sports. Before we go to the third mistake, let's have a quiz together. The first one, she needs advice before she moves to another country. She needs a piece of advice before she moves to another country. How about this one? Her luggage in the car. Her luggage is in the car because luggage is an uncountable noun. Let's jump into the third mistake with a question. Which one sounds correct? I watched a movie which it was very scary. Or I watched a movie which was very scary. Which one is correct? The second one is correct. Why? Because this is a relative clause, and when you use a relative pronoun, you don't need to use another pronoun in the sentence. As you may know, relative pronouns are which, that, who, when, where, and why. Well, these are relative pronouns that can be used in relative clauses, and when you are using them, you don't need to add another pronoun in your sentence. Take a look at these sentences. She found a dog that was golden. I met my best friend who is older than me. You tell me this one. This is my favorite song that I listen every day. This is my favorite song that I listen to every day. If you say that I listen to it, it here is a pronoun and you cannot use it in a relative clause. So you can say, this is my favorite song that I listen to every day. How about this one? This is the laptop that I last year. This is the laptop that I bought last year. Again, it is a pronoun and it is not correct if you want to use it in a relative clause. Most of my students ask me, when should I use a, when should I use an, and when should I use the? Well, this is so simple, like easy peasy lemon squeezy. You just need to know a simple rule that I'm going to tell you a few seconds later. First things first, we use a when the word starts with a consonant sound. Consonant sounds are like k, b, f, t, and so on. For an example, a bag, a desk, a chair, a university, a unicorn. You might say university and unicorn, they both starts with a vowel. Why did you say a university or a unicorn? Well, I told you to listen to the sound of it. It starts with y, a university. So you have to say a university. But when the word starts with a vowel sound, you need to add an. For an example, an elephant, an egg, an eyebrow. All of these words start with a vowel sound. What about hour? It starts with H. But when you listen to the beginning of this word, when you want to say it, it starts with hour. So you have to say an hour. Also, we use a or an when we are talking about something that is not specific. For an example, a man, an apple, a book, an elephant. See, these are some general words and we are not talking about something specific that we know about. But when you know what you are talking about, you should say the. Look at this example. I saw a bird. The bird was blue. Another example, she found a cat and the cat is sick. At first, we don't know which cat she is talking about. But when she says she found a cat, now we have a background and we know that she's talking about a cat that was lost. And after that, you can say the cat was sick. Before we go to the last mistake, let's have a quiz together. Which one is the correct answer? There was dog, but dog didn't have a collar. There was a dog in our garden, but the dog didn't have a collar. What about this tricky one? She went on a date with boy she met yesterday. She went on a date with the boy she met yesterday. Here we use the because we know which boy she is talking about. Now let's jump into the last mistake. Which one is correct? The movie was bored. The movie was boring. The movie was boring. Most English students make this mistake and they don't know these words' functions. Bored is a feeling, but boring is an adjective that describes something. Another example, I was interested in the movie because it was interesting. Again, interested is a feeling and interesting is an adjective that describes that movie. Let's take a look at some other examples. We have surprised, surprising, exhausted, exhausting, tired, tiring, fascinated, fascinating. Now let's take a look at these examples. I watched a boring movie and I was bored at the end. She was surprised because the party was surprising. Now it's your turn. Can you tell me the correct answer? The meeting was very fascinating. How about this? She was after an project. She was exhausted after an exhausting project. Okay guys, that was it for today's video. If this video was useful for you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel right now and like this video to support me and to let YouTube algorithm know that you have enjoyed this content. Also, if you know some other mistakes that most English students make these days, you can tell me in the comments, and if you have some other questions, you can ask me in the comments. I will read all of your feedbacks and answer your questions. So yeah, that was it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Have a nice day.